First, we begin with the state at the center of an unprecedented tuberculosis outbreak. Kansas is reporting the largest documented number of cases. Eva Pilgrim has the latest developments. And Eva, this is, of course, an ongoing situation, so there's concern that there could be more cases. Good morning.
That's exactly right, Robin. This is an active outbreak, and health officials expect there could be more cases. It is the most deadly infectious disease in the world, but it hasn't been a major concern here in the U.S. for many decades, until now.
This morning, health officials in Kansas are dealing with the largest documented outbreak of tuberculosis in U.S. history. There have been 2 deaths along with 67 active cases. TB is one of the world's leading infectious disease killer and is spread person to person by germs that can stay in the air for hours.
You do need prolonged contact with an infected individual. You know, if you briefly come into contact with somebody in the community, it's not very likely that you're going to contract tuberculosis. The exact reason for this specific outbreak is not yet clear.
Kansas public health officials found dozens more have latent TB, meaning they are infected with the TB bacteria, but they do not have symptoms and cannot spread the infection to others. While TB rates in the United States have been declining since the early 90s, including by nearly 20% during the first year of COVID, rates began climbing in 2021 and 2022, surpassing pre-pandemic levels in 2023.
Now, there is a TB vaccine. It leaves a little circular scar. It is commonly given to kids in countries where TB is common, but it hasn't been commonly used here in the U.S. because historically, the numbers here, y'all, have been so very low.
I know, that's what is so concerning. So we're going to have much more a little bit later because Dr. Narula is going to be here because there are a lot of questions.
There is a tuberculosis outbreak currently occurring in Kansas. 67 confirmed cases of active tuberculosis, over 200 cases of latent tuberculosis. I'm Dr. Hassan. Let's get into it, why it hasn't been reported. Yesterday, the Kansas Department of Health reported there are 67 active cases of tuberculosis in Wyandotte County. Now, tuberculosis is caused by a bacteria known as Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Anytime anybody who's infected coughs, sings, sneezes, the bacteria is released into the air and can potentially linger for several hours. This is the 3rd largest outbreak of tuberculosis in the United States. Second and first were outbreaks inside homeless shelters and something to do with the bone marrow transplant graft. The concerning portion is that tuberculosis infects over 10 million people worldwide every single year, and up to 1 million people pass away from the disease process. Signs and symptoms include cough, fever, coughing of blood, night sweats is a big one. That being said, because of the presidential freeze on all communications from health organizations, both the World Health Organization, the CDC, the FDA, all those organizations, there hasn't been a lot of press coverage about this because they're not allowed to talk about it. So with all that being said, what's your opinion on why this outbreak is happening? And what's your opinion on the freeze of communications from the CDC, especially in situations like this? I love you guys. Leave me a comment below. More content coming. I'll see you on the next one.